medical ma for any or powerful marchi. I'm say voter a friend saying Akosombo Dam Spillage, a dear say mania would do any echo here, and whom the echo so a very sad. A woman say a torrential, if is that how to say?
A torrential.
Yes. It's a natural disaster in terms of the rainfall, the rainfall and the fact that the dam got full. But what is happening in the southern part of the Volta region, I think it goes beyond just a natural disaster. I think that somebody needs to take responsibility for it. Over the period, I think that the construction of the dam is done such that all these things are anticipated. So when they were building that dam, I'm sure they anticipated that a time will come, the dam will be full, and that they will need to spill it down the southern part. And if you know the architecture of the topography of the area, you know that at the downstream of the dam of the Volta River, there is an estuary around Adan.
Adan, yeah.
There's a Zanya area entering into the sea. So if everything was done well, the river was well drained, well desilted. The river, the water, the spillage should just flow down into the sea.
Yeah, straight.
That's not what we are seeing now. What we are seeing is a catastrophic flood covering a very large part of the region, the southern part of the region, from Akosombo area, bit after Japan. You come down to North Town, Central Town, South Town,
yeah.
Anglo area, and Anglo because and Anglo people is like it's a triple tragedy we are looking at there, because you have tidal waves worrying them over the period.
Yeah.
And the tidal waves and then rainfall. I mean, the rain has been very. There has been much rain this season, so the rainfall, as much as the rainfalls, the lagoon there, the Kita Lagoon, is also silted, needing desilting. So that as well overflows to the banks, and there are so many communities around there which are affected by the rainfall, and then also the tidal waves also floods the place. Then this spillage, because the estuary is more or less blocked, the water finds its way back into the Anglo area as well, adding to the problem. Now, that is just one bit of it. If you go there and see the disaster, as for the flood, is affecting people who can't get to sleep in their rooms, who can't even enter their houses and all that. But the aftermath of this flood, I don't know. Just as it appears the authorities were not anticipating what had happened, had not prepared for it, I'm sure we are going to have even much problem after it, regardless of these committees that have been, the ministerial committee that has been set up by the president. Interestingly, the president has not said a word. I have not heard anything the president said about what is happening there. I have been there. I've seen what is going on there. Apart from the opposition party leaders, Mahama has been there. Hialan Chamante has also been there.
Yeah.
Apart from them, there is very little on the ground you can see of government involvement in trying to ascertain what is going on there and find solution for it. Of course, some of the DCs are doing very well. I've met them over the weekend. Some bodies were evacuated from a mortuary which was submerged in the water, in the flood around the Sugakope area. I mean, the fact is that the repercussion of that, you know already. Dead bodies submerged in water. They have been evacuated now. But, I mean, the same water, many people drink from the same water. And so you can understand the health implication. It boggles my mind that we did not anticipate this thing would happen. Because, I mean, the dam is spilled by people. And they have proud knowledge of all these things. Of course, they've informed the communities, from what I understand. But informing them alone would not have solved the problem.
Sure.
You need to find a way, an alternative means for them to, put their head, how to evacuate themselves and all that. The VRA and of course government needed to have been fully involved, because only them understand what the outcome of the spillage was going to be. So I am a bit worried about government's lackadaisical attitude towards the people there. And I was listening to one of the MPs from the Aflawe, I think Jifar Gumachi, when she said that even when there was the tidal wave affected their communities, government did not pay attention to them. They were rather accusing her of singing praises of her party leader. And according to her party leader was there for them, for the people, even as an opposition leader. So I think that the government needs to take this thing more serious. President Akufo-Addo needs to take this thing more serious. We've seen the statements he's issued in the light of the Gaza Israel issue.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen those statements. We've seen the previous ones he's issued in the past. So if something has happened in your own country and you can't say anything about it, and you go issuing statement on what has happened so far away from you, it tells, that you are just insensitive towards the people. So people are complaining around there. I've heard.
Is it a case of attempting to be more of a global citizen than a local one?
But what does that make you? What does that make you? I think that the government has been largely insensitive to the people. If you go to Mepe, I mean, nobody even cares where they sleep. They don't care. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos. They are horrible. They are horrible. In part of Southtown area, you can't even access communities.
Yeah.
People have their farm that have been taken over by water. The aquaculture that goes on along the river bank. All those business people have lost their properties. Okay, so the effect is going to be very telling on them. As for just announcing that you have a interministerial committee, that's just one thing. But the president, I think, should do more than just setting up a committee. What it looks at now is he's pretending to be doing something about what is happening there, but nothing. You haven't heard him made any comment, not even during the tidal waves disaster at the Keta area, nor this current incident. And I don't think it's right to have a government behaving the way he's behaving.
Is it? I mean, I've had concerns myself, particularly with the Ekwaya Faswo Natmo, because I am fully aware that the VRA will not spill the water without NADMO's involvement, and obviously, NADMO National, NADMO Regional, NADMO District will be engaged in and yet the preparation towards
The spillage.
the spillage. And so my question is, if after the spillage, government is setting up
And it's the
an interministerial committee to ensure then what then is the business of we having National Disaster Management Organization?
It means it just tells you that there is no preparation at all, like you rightly put it. If VRA is going to do such a mega spillage, they would have spoken to what's the name? NADMO. The communities are along the riverbank, the affected, potentially affected communities. They would have engaged the DCEs there. Ministers would have been in the known that this is going to happen. This is likely to result into crisis. How do we prepare for this crisis? You don't get in the middle of the crisis, and NADMO is saying we don't have sufficient, equipment. They don't even have sufficient boats to ferry the people from the flood. All those ones, blankets, temporary places for them to lay their head. Nothing has been done. So I mean, it is right to say that the government doesn't seem concerned about whatever happens there. It doesn't. We know when the disaster happened at what's
Look
the name?
at that.
This is just the fanciful side of it. If you go downstream, it's terrible. It's terrible. In
Look
some
at that.
cases, the roads.
Roads have been submerged, houses.
And I'm telling you, a mortuary is submerged. There's a what's the name? Electricity service center.
Yeah.
Also submerged in the water. So the people of Sogakope area hardly get electricity to do. And so businesses will be affected. Livelihoods are affected. In a friend saying, agency. So it's looking like President Akufo-Addo and his ministers just don't care. You can see from what is happening there, there's no preparation at all, towards this thing. There's no preparation towards it. To say that you have informed the people, I think it's just one thing. Informing them is one thing. The preparation to rescue them, to ensure that they don't have their valuables, within the catchment. They have no expertise to ascertain what damage this village is going to
It's going to cause, yes.
So
and that really has been my challenge, because, sir, if indeed what the National Disaster Management Organization is telling us is true, so they had a simulation exercise, then obviously Volta River Authority might have told them, so okay, these are the likely areas that are to be impacted by the spillage. And so NADMO should have started its work there and then. Because say Abani Abeka just say, okay, Stefani David, Mona more this area, and this is what is likely to happen when we spill the water. Obviously, you start your work. Yes. Because one of the key principles I keep on saying is that you prevent the damage from happening before you attempt managing it.
And this was possible. It was possible for them to have prevented this. In fact, at least, like you put it, knowing how many people are in a particular community, how many properties are likely to be affected. All these things. I mean, this one, you don't need it. You don't leave it to them to decide when to move and when not to move. You understand? So, clearly, government has been very reckless, and of course, VRA as well, in this crisis. This is a major crisis that is, I mean, we are not seeing the full blown of it yet. It's going to happen because if dead bodies are submerged in water, you can tell. I mean, there's no proper water system at the place there. Most of those communities don't have proper water system, so they drink from this river. So you can tell the health implication in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks.